Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode. We're working on Unit 6 still, but we're doing lessons 5 and 6. Our topic is still different environments. Let's start with our objectives. We're going to describe and compare feelings of people, places, actions, objects, and events, and establishing relationships. We will plan, write, and consequence texts. We will gather information from specific sources we have, and we will identify a main idea in a short listening text. Then we're going to write about how to use less water, and we will write about what to do with rubbish. We will listen and order a conversation. We will understand a description of someone's school project. We will discuss how to use less water, and we will negotiate and learn to problem solve. Now we're going to work in pairs to talk about how to use less water and then complete the diagram. How can we use less water? Think of ways we can save water. Now let's talk about a country such as Japan that recycles water. They have special ways where they can reuse the water that they already used once. Let's check together. How can we use less water? We can take showers instead of baths. We can turn off the taps carefully. We can water plants in the morning or late at night. We can recycle water if it is not very dirty, such as Japan. Now, put the dialogue in the correct order. This is a discussion between Aya and Reem. Let's read it together. Well, why don't we try recycling water? That's an interesting idea. The plants would like that. For example, we could use the water from washing to water the plants. The problem is that we all use too much water. That's true. So how can we use less water? How could we do that? Now, try to number the dialogue from your own perspective, and then we will listen to the audio. Try to number the dialogue using your own ideas. Let's listen to the audio to check your answers.
The problem is that we all use too much water. That's true. So how can we use less water? Well, why don't we try recycling water? How can we do that? For example, we could use the water from washing to water the plants. That's an interesting idea. The plants would like that.
Now, let's check our answers together. A, 3, B, 6, C, 5, D, 1, E, 2, and F, 4. That means that we start with, the problem is that we all use too much water. That's true. So, how can we use less water? Well, why don't we try recycling water? How could we do that? For example, we could use the water from washing to water the plants. That's an interesting idea. The plants would like that. Now, let's move on to exercise 4. Ask and answer questions below with a partner. Which of the phrases in red in exercise 2 make suggestions? Of course, the answer is why don't we or we could. Those expressions can be used to suggest an idea. Which of the phrases ask for or respond to a suggestion? Of course, they are, that's an interesting idea, or how can we, or how could we? Now let's move on to exercise 5. Work with a different partner. Now find a different partner at home or even on the phone with one of your friends. Discuss your ideas about how you could use less water in exercise 1. Did you have any of the same ideas? Discuss with your friend or partner. Then decide which idea you think is the best one. Use some of the expressions in red from exercise 2. And then finally share with your family or classmates what you decided and you can have class votes on the best ideas. As for life skills, when talking about a problem, you need to ask others for their ideas about how to solve it. Try also to give your own suggestion. Now we're going to move on to write a paragraph about how to use less water. Remember to include the following information. What do you use water for every day? What things in the house or school also use water? Why it's important to use less water? How can you use less water? You can use ideas from exercise 5. Now we're going to move on to lesson 6. Read, underline, and correct the 5 mistakes in the article. If you don't want to underline, you can also highlight. Students help to clean river by Khadija Al-Maghrabi. Last weekend, 10 students from class 7 helped clean up the part of the river bank near the city center. The students collected 15 bags of rubbish. Their teacher, Mr. Hassan, said the students were sad to find so much rubbish. There were lots of plastic bags and bottles, he said. We even found an old shoe. One of the students said it was great to clean the riverbank, but we need to teach people to be more careful with their rubbish. Rubbish in the river damages wildlife. Well done to the volunteers. Now, let's find the 5 mistakes together. Of course, the first mistake was helped. So the second mistake is bag. We have to change it into bags. As for the third mistake, we need to capitalize Hassan because Mr. Hassan is written with a small h. And we need to add the article an instead of a. Let's read it together. We even found an old shoe. And last but not least, we need to add a quotation mark after wildlife. Good job, guys. Now let's read exercise 2. You can reread the article before we start. So pause the video if you need to. Number 1. When did the students clean the riverbank? Of course, they cleaned it last weekend. How many students helped? 10 students helped. How much rubbish did they collect? 15 bags of rubbish. Number 4. What type of rubbish did they find? They found plastic bags, bottles, and a shoe. Number 5. Why does the student think rubbish in the riverbank is bad? Because it damages wildlife. Did you know that more than 12,000 bikes are taken from the canals in Amsterdam in the Netherlands every year? You can read more about it by research. Now, I'd like you to write a short report for a school newspaper about something you or someone at your school did to help the environment. It doesn't need to be real. It can be fictional. Think about when and where it happened, how did you do it, and who did you do it with. When you have finished, check your report for mistakes and add a title to your report and swap your report with a partner or a friend to read and check together. Remember, you have to check your writing for mistakes such as grammar, spelling, and punctuation. That's a wrap. This was Ms. Sarah Bassioni. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.